Well, here we are. We have another ASSC networking and a workshop with just a little bit of information for you before you get going on your networking. Today, I'd like to talk to you about building the first touch communication with association decision makers. We've got a situation where everybody's trying to figure out how to use AI, wants to use AI to speed things up. And there's a lot of applications for AI, and there's a lot of ways that we can do it. But I think that what will help you is to understand what the basics should be on a first touch and decide then where AI will serve you and where it won't. So let's jump into this. Hey, so first off, y'all know that I really think that you should be making phone calls. Now, I realize that a lot of you aren't, and that's okay. But let me tell you why I think that you should be making phone calls as opposed to emails. And then I'm going to get into a lot of what the email first touches should be. But the thing with the phone calls, the the game is to find out who truly is the decision maker. Now, you can do a lot of looking up and you can do all kinds of AI searches and find associations and find the executive directors, but we don't know. Is the executive director the decision maker? Is it the chief operating officer? Is it the director of conferences? Who makes the decisions on selecting speakers like you and I to attend the conference? My way for 35 years has been I like to call the editor. Why? Because the editors are usually easy to get a hold of. Okay, that's number one. Number two, I like to give my articles to the editor. Now, if they do publish my articles, all the better. But if they don't, no harm, no foul, because that's not the real game. Giving the articles of the editor is really just making a relationship bank deposit, because then the third step is once I've made that relationship bank deposit, hey, the doorknob closed. Can you tell me who is the decision maker on selecting speakers? And most of the times they'll tell you the truth. Then the fourth step is to actually have them connect you with that decision maker. Now, that's what I'd like you to do. But I also realize a lot of you won't do that. Okay. The phone call is the best, it's the most effective. It's going to give you, quite frankly, the quickest results. But I know a lot of us speakers we just don't like to pick up the phone. Okay, well, that's just the way it is. So let's move into the next idea. Okay, let's see. There we go. So how do we make sure that our email, our first touch, how do we make sure it gets opened and not deleted? And what I want to throw at you is please, 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 double please, no more spam. No more just sending off generic emails to these association people, because the decision makers that I've interviewed over the last couple of years, and any of you that are ASSC members, there's about 60 interviews in our vault. They've all said the same thing. If a speaker sends me an email that looks like spam, it just gets deleted. It goes in the trash. I don't even read it. So what they tell me is they want you to customize to them. So what is the first thing? Well, the first thing is you better have a good subject line, because if your subject line is not a good subject line, then right there, your email may not get opened. Now, I'm totally fine with you futzing around with AI and looking at different ways to make a really, really cool and intriguing and a hook subject line. Totally good with that. And, knock yourself out. And I think that that's a totally fine thing to do. Just remember, though, if the association people smell AI, they're smelling spam. So you might want to just be a little bit careful and make sure that they don't smell AI. Number two, okay, so let's just say you're lucky enough and they actually opened the email. Awesome. Here's the thing. I know there's a lot of marketing people out there, a lot of marketing gurus that tell you to put 87 paragraphs and just, bowl them over with content. I'm here to tell you that the 60 plus association execs, decision makers that I've interviewed, They don't want that. They want really brief and to the point, okay? They want to make sure that they're clear, that you're clear on who they are and what their needs are. So with that, you only want a paragraph or two, okay? Now, I'll talk to you in a minute about all the extra ad nauseum and how to use it and where to put it. But for right now, initially, you just want a paragraph or two. And it's totally fine. You want to take one or two of their key problems, and naturally, you can use AI to search in every industry what are the one or two key problems of their members. Great, you know, ChatGPT, Perplexity, whoever you want to use, they're all good. And so you get that, and you have to just pick and guess what you think are going to be the one or two. If you go any more than that, they're not going to read it. Okay. Then they're going to know it's an AI generated letter. So pick one or two of the problems that their members are having. Now you need to attach to each of those problems your solutions. You know, it's all about the what's in it for their member. Okay. I'm sorry to say they don't care about you and me. They don't, you know, they don't care about that we've had, you know, 7 standing ovations in the last, you know, 5 minutes or 3 days or 2 weeks or whatever it is. They just don't care. That they all they care about is what do you have that will help their members to move from point A to point B, meaning solve those problems that you identified. That's what they need to know. And you've got to do this quick and to the point because remember, a lot of these association people get 50 to 100 to as many as 200 emails. Yeah, a day. My gosh, how would you do? You know, you get upset that you get, you know, like 5 spam newsletters and people trying to sell you their services a day. But these association people, they're getting bombarded between speakers, bureaus, so forth and so on, speaker assistants. They are being bombarded. Okay. So next, what do we have to do? You have to make sure that you're clear on your positioning so you can prove in a sentence how you are unique. Now, unique means one of a kind. It doesn't mean a little bit different. It means one of a kind. So how you are unique, different, better, special compared to everybody else in your topic. So if you speak on leadership, there's 5,432 others in the United States that speak on leadership. That's okay. There's nothing wrong with that, but you've got to break through the noise. So you've got to be able to be really, really clear on your positioning. And positioning is not a 2-sentence idea. Positioning is 5, 6, 7 words that gets them to understand, okay, here's somebody that understands my members have these couple problems. Their content helps solve those problems, moves them from point A problem to point B solution. They do it through their unique approach. Now, when you do that, then you've got maybe their interest. You've maybe got them to go, oh, this person's interesting. Right then and there, right then and there, you need to make it really, really easy for them to get a hold of you. So you put in an initial contact, you put an intriguing subject line. You have a hook and you show them really quick that you understand who they are, that you understand their members' problems, and that you have solutions with your IP, your intellectual property that was within your subject matter expertise to solve their problems moving the point A to B. At that point, you want to let them know how to get a hold of you, your phone number, your email, your website. And then once you get beyond that, now you can go with, you know, paragraph after paragraph after paragraph of extended proof. You can put in there your program, your description, the deliverables, the takeaways, all of those kinds of things. That's totally fine. And that's valuable to have, and I'll tell you why in just a couple minutes. But what I want to stress upon you is you want to make it really, really easy for these decision makers who get lots and lots of emails a day to see quickly who you are, what problems you solve for their members, how you solve them, why you're the person to do it, how they can get a hold of you. And then, if they have more interest than that, they can read on for pages after pages after pages of whatever you choose to send them. Now, we got to remember what's going to happen with your email. You send an email. What is going to happen? You're hoping that you can break through the noise. You're hoping, I know what your hope is. Your hope is that you're going to get through to the decision maker. The decision maker is going to read your email. They're going to fall in love with you, and they're going to jump on the phone and call you up and beg you to speak at their meeting for full fee. I know that's what you want. What are the realities? Okay, so your email very likely can be deleted as spam. That's very, very likely. If you don't have a good, intriguing subject line and you don't get right to the point with their problems and your solution and what's in it for their members, then your email is going to be deleted. So maybe they're going to read it and they're going to consider your email intriguing enough that it's worthy of a response. Maybe they'll call you, maybe they'll email you back. Who knows what they might do? But that's another possibility. What else can happen? They may forward your email to, quote, the committee or to a meeting specific staffer. Now, here is where it's really good below your first paragraph or two. Remember, the first paragraph or two has got to be what's going to catch their interest. Right after that first paragraph or two, how to get a hold of you. And below that, all the extra information that the committee may need to really consider you, that a meeting specific staffer may need to consider you. So nothing wrong with putting that in there. And then the fourth thing that might happen with your email, and a lot of association people tell me they do this, if they're interested, but right now they've got other things on their plate and they're just not right now looking at speakers, then your email will go into a future meeting file. Then when they get close to considering speakers, they pull all those out. But again, you've got to make sure that the different people that read that email, that you're intriguing, that you understand their problems, that you're customized to their need, that you can solve their members' problems. And these are the problems you solve, and this is how you do it. So I would say to all of you that are ASSC members, okay, now y'all know that you get once a month a 30-minute call with Aidan. So I would encourage you to work on what I just gave you. Do the best you can, okay? Then when you get your call with Aidan, chat with him a little bit about where AI can help you to make it even better. Don't rely on AI to do all your work. Do your work. Rely on AI to make it that much better. Well, there you go. That's what I suggest that you do for your first contact. Again, what's my prime directive? Any of you are Star Trek fans, my prime directive is get on the phone, talk to editors, truly find out who the decision maker is. I understand a lot of you aren't going to do that. Not a problem. Step two, if you're not going to get on the phone, the next best is to make sure that you have really, really customized and targeted emails. Because what you don't want is your emails to go into spam immediately. Well, I hope you found this helpful. Aidan, back to you.